do that, the best I would say is just do the name, and then nothing else, like no addresses or anything like that. Just your name, and then boom. Yeah. Perfect, like that. Just like that.
Pronoun they them ella en español, and I play saxophone as well as vocals in Negrazul.
How are we doing tonight? I am Manny Calavera. I am the drummer of Negrazul.
And and what we're gonna do is we are, you know what? There's a few things that we're gonna do. We are definitely going to introduce our listeners to you guys, right? Because this is a band that we have in front of us. Be that old, are we like? We're gonna get a good history because this you guys have been doing this at one point or another for this amount of years. Remind us how many, because we have original lineup, original cast, original team, and then we have current team cast. So this is like a formation of different casts. So if we had the Avengers,
You
and then
do
we
the
had some
original.
West Coast
Yeah.
Avengers, and then we had some of the original Avengers. So we have a cast of Avengers here in the form of Negrazul. Okay, you guys are a ska group, right?
Yes.
Ska punk, ska group. How's the proper way I should be saying this and addressing it in genre terms?
Ska punk is
Okay.
usually what we use.
Okay.
We do fall into some ska experimental because we have blues, jazz, as well as gypsy and cumbia influences.
Hmm.
But ska punk to keep it nice and clean.
And one of the things, like I don't know what you might have been thinking. We're gonna hear a little bit of it. I actually got to cue it up. While we're here, tell you what I'm gonna ask. Do me a favor, could you
Go attended. I just happened to show up just to hang out and check out some of the bands. But the band that was actually performing during that time, I think it was the only band that actually showed up for that Battle of the Bands. And they were actually just rocking. And I don't know, I just decided to go up there and I told one of the members if there's any way I can just, sing nonsense or anything, just hang out. And, after that, they ended up winning and they even said I was their singer. And that's just kind of how we came along, and that's just how the band and everyone just connected and met. We did perform in front of the school. It was pretty cool, but from there we happened to change the lineup amongst our three of us and kind of just brought this band and formed it together to what it is now.
And that was Manny. And Manny, remind us what part you play, what instruments you play.
I am the drummer, one of the percussionists of the band.
Percussionist. Okay, awesome. And for the beginning, when you introduce yourself and make yourself a band, always been ska punk the whole time from the beginning.
Yeah, from the
Okay.
beginning, it's always been ska punk. A lot of our influences definitely originated from punk. Definitely with the original bass player who unfortunately passed away about 2 years ago, Joel. He definitely had a lot of heavy punk influences growing up, so he definitely added that and incorporated a lot of that into our style of music in our early years, and that kind of formed us to what we are now, the ska punk that you hear in our music.
Okay. And so for Joel, it's kind of you've been keeping the spirit alive in this particular era that the group is in now, and we are going to get into it in a little bit, and I do want to hear everyone's, you know, you know what? Before we go into the names, Andrew, tell me about when you came into
Uh,
to the band.
sure, no problem. I mean, I think just my origins. I come from a musical family.
Uh-huh.
From a very early age, I was already playing music. And when I met Joe, who was the first person I met, one thing I love about him, or the first thing I loved about him, was that his energy. His punk rock. He wasn't the greatest musician. He actually sucked, if I could say. But I just love his energy. It was just something about him that he just brought that
Hmm.
energy. I was just like, you want to jam out? You ever want to? And that's how I met him. And then we just became great friends. We had a lot of common, just interests, and we just wanted to play music. That was really our thing. And then, as Manny said, we met him through the Battle of the Bands event, but that's how we kind of started the three people relationship where like Manny will play drums, Joe will play bass, I'll play guitar. Let's just see what we could do. You know, Joel went through Craigslist or you know like those he tried to buy a drum set. He was just so he had this drive that I just you know it's he really did a lot in the beginning. Like he had no real experience, but he just loved music. And me, like I said, I have this musical background, so I kind of try to, you know,
When you
build
say he
this.
had no experience, do you mean he didn't know anything about chords, how to
Exactly.
play chords, any of the like the fancy stuff like progressions and all that fancy stuff like
Right.
that?
He don't know anything about
Okay, so
notes.
when when he would pick up an instrument, would he just was it like an innate thing where it was by ear and on that instrument
It
being able
was.
to accomplish decent sound with not
It was
being
just it's the
formal?
the feeling or the vibe. Like
Okay.
he knew what not knowing the chords, he knew how it should be visually, how it should be, and I don't know,
No,
for the lack of a better word, it was just like
he was able to feel the music and produce
Yeah.
the
he
music
he had,
properly.
He was great
yes.
energy.
Norman, tell us about
He was,
about
I think,
Joel,
what
please.
Joel
Joel,
really
excuse me.
had, or what we would call him base, he just had a lot of really positive energy, especially, you know, for a time where everything, you know, gets really difficult, especially when you're starting your own band. It can get really stressful. You're trying to figure out, you know, the logo, the name, all the good stuff. And he really took lead in making it one fun, but also like making sure that the energy still remained in the music, that it wasn't work, that it was something that everybody enjoyed. Like he really made sure to keep that fun aspect of the band alive.
That's where it's at. You
They-
have to enjoy what you're doing, or why are you doing it, right?
Yes, you got to still be happy because you don't want it to be work, right?
Correct.
Right, it doesn't want to be work because work is all drudgery,
It's not fun.
right? It's not fun, right?
Yeah, that's good.
So that's like okay, so that's embodies perfect elements of a leader. Joel, right? Joel.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm saying it right, Joel. Just say
Yeah.
his name, right, Joel. So those are all good traits for leader, right? And then so feel how was Joel able to adapt, Adrian, when you were teaching because it was guitar, right? That he played?
He was playing. Oh, when I met him, he was playing guitar,
Okay.
but he ultimately landed on bass.
On bass.
Yeah.
And how easy was he able to pick up those things that you taught him, chord progressions or whatever it was?
I mean, at first it was, you know, it's like learning a different new skill. You know, you struggle, but what I eventually he picked up enough where he could start creating his own,
Okay.
which I loved.
Wow.
Like I gave him the chords, but never how he should play it.
Cool.
And that was something like if you hear the old recordings, he has his bass lines. I'm just like, that makes this bass is the best part. You get me? Like he was just so creative, even though he didn't have that training, he was able to create something, and yeah, like he just created what I guess a part of Negrazul, at least in the beginning stages.
Manny, is there anything you wanna even add on to what you just said? Maybe what Norma had said moments ago.
Definitely. Adding on to our fallen member, Beast. You know, one thing I'm grateful is one. I guess he in life. You know, growing up, one thing I noticed from the three of us, Adrian, Joel, myself, is some of us come from even struggles growing up. A lot of struggles, a lot of just um, rough times. And I think that we all kind of connected in that aspect, and the music brought us together. We were able to kind of just express ourselves, be able to just let out frustration, let out whatever it is that we were feeling as teenagers through the music. And one thing that I'm grateful that Joao kind of implemented in the band is kind of just everyone just come in and be themselves, without having one person be kind of like a dictator telling you how to run things, how to do this and that. He kind of wanted to bring in a safe space for everyone that struggled in life, just come in and have a space to create, have a space for them to be themselves. And he definitely he made his what we call the cave, which is actually his garage. He made it a safe space for the band to come in and just hang out, express themselves, be themselves at times where they just they didn't feel like the themselves in life. And so I'm really grateful about that. And we try to keep that alive within the band. We try to keep it family oriented. Everybody come in and kind of distress themselves rather than stress themselves, rather than come in and be like, drag. We got practice. One thing that I'm grateful is that everyone actually comes to practice excited to see each and every member, excited to come and jam out, express themselves, and be themselves. And I got Joao to thank for that, for leaving that into the band and just letting us have something that we can definitely enjoy, feel safe, and create amongst each other.
Right on. Right on. That's good to hear.
And somebody was like, "Hey, you play saxophone? Come join our band." And I was like, "Sure." Like, I showed up to try out. We showed up to the original cave, which was Joel's garage, and I showed up to jam. I was not good at all. I was barely learning how to play the saxophone, but they really liked how committed and loyal I was to the project. And then they heard me sing. And so they really wanted to utilize my vocal aspects as well as the added saxophone talent that I was still acquiring. And I really worked really hard with Adrian. Adrian really went out of his way to teach me a lot of the basics, to make sure that I sounded good. We would do sectionals on the side.
Wow.
And we played together for a while, and there was some alternative members that we had, a couple horn players that came and went. Um, but I feel like I've been, I guess, the most recent tribute in terms of saxophone, the one that has remained
Mm-hmm.
in 2012, and I've just been playing with the band since. I did go on hiatus, my personal self, when I was getting my master's degree, because my mental health was not well, and I just did not feel like I could give the quality that I wanted to. But we've been on and off for since 2012. I stopped playing in 2018, returned again in around 2020, and then unfortunately, once we decided to start again, Joel passed away, and then we all reconnected again in 2022, and we debuted as the new Negrazul that we now know in 2023 in July.
What a story, huh?
Yeah.
It's meant to be. You guys need to just stay
No,
together. Just stop.
Yeah.
No, I'm just sitting here. Because that's.
It's tough. It's tough. It definitely took a hit, but we're using that to just keep going. Like some of our pins, for example, that Manny made in the back, it says like "in loving memory of Joel." So we really try to do that. Like we try to stay really true to the punk side of it and
Yeah.
honor the older music and revamp it in a way where we know like Joel would be skanking to it or be like, yeah, like that's what's up, y'all. But we really as a band, I feel like it really bonded us together. And honestly, we've became better musicians because of it, and we went through the grief together, we processed together, and now we're back out in the world and we turned it into new music.
And not only that,
Yeah.
it's we're all allowing yourself to go through your own growth
Mm.
and allowed yourself to 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 come back to it.
Right here, Johnny, the bassist,
Bassist, Johnny bassist.
and Eder, the tenor sax player.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump and listen to how your origins are when you came in and what point. We covered a little bit of 2009 to 12 and the last current years, and then what we'll do is we'll hear from you
I
guys in
think
a
you should
moment.
go first on this
Well, what
one.
we'll do right now in a moment, we're gonna cover this event really quick. So
So yeah, and it says you have to RSVP and join them for cartoon classics, learn to draw, all that good stuff. And you eat cereal?
yeah, I know that's one thing that you've
Yes.
been wanting to do. So okay, everyone in here, I got mics on everyone, and we're all gonna talk about this topic: cartoons and cereal. Who went with that ritual? Saturday morning, Saturday morning, get your favorite
I bet
cereal
in here,
and
who?
you watch
Hands,
your
hands.
favorite
Everybody,
cartoon, right?
yes.
Everybody, right? Okay.
I still do that. No.
Okay. So the cartoon and cereal event that happens here, Becky shared, goes up a little further, right? So instead of doing it, maybe as a solo event, as a personal event, it becomes a community event where the youth are can come in, families come in, watch. Going to be watching Yogi Bear on the 26th, and then there is a guest artist, either independent artist or someone that works in the field of animation, will come in and teach those participating how to draw.
Hey, boo boo.
Yeah, boo boo. So
Yes.
so just where do they got? Let them know where they got RSVP for that.
So you guys can call the number. It is area code 213-293-6170. It has a web address here of some sort, Julian at bharts.org. And this event happens every last Saturday of the month, guys. So it's not just this month, it's every Saturday.
And different
Last
times.
one. So don't come the first one like I did last week because
Come to the other
nobody's
one.
here.
So what we'll do is, you know what? Let's table this one really quick. Let's do a quick icebreaker because we have Eder and Johnny.
Have a full
Okay,
house.
before we get into
Yes.
your origin story, we're gonna go this one more time, right? So we can stress the point of this community event. Eder, what was your favorite story when you used to do cartoons? When you used to do your own cartoons?
It was Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms. It was Lucky Charms, and what was the cartoon that you could not miss that Saturday?
That Saturday it was always Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Channel 5 then, that was
Yeah.
some WB, right? Channel 5 got it. And Johnny,
Oh man, for me it was always Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops?
I had to get my Fruit Loops.
Okay.
You know, it's for kids.
Yeah, I did. And what was that cartoon?
I always go with Digimon and Pokemon.
Oh, Digimon, man. Digimon, because they had a good lineup. That was Channel 5. There was Digimon. That was also the lineup of Spectacular Spider-Man. There was also Digimon. There was Yu-Gi-Oh. There was Card Captors. Okay. Norma, what was
I knew
what's yours?
it. I was a PBS kid.
Yeah! Right here. No. No. High five. High five. I love
Yeah.
PBS, dude.
I'm like,
Live and die PBS, man. Don't.
And the band broke up, but I met them like affiliated like in the same type of scene, same shows all the time. I would always like I met a bunch of these cats like a long time ago, but I reconnected with Norma like about like 3 years ago, and Norma was telling me, well, I probably like 2 years ago, right, like something like that, and they told me that our bass player passed away, like would you be interested to come in and play bass for us? And I was like, it's kind of like when a member passes away from a band, it's kind of hard to like just jump in because everyone's still like kind of grieving, you know. So I just said, oh yeah, why not? Like let me see what I can, you know, contribute for you guys and help you guys out to like not let this music die. You know, like there's a lot of talented musicians right here, so I just wanted to see what I could put my input, and I've been with them for the past 2 years, and like, dude, I'm enjoying. I'm having a great time with these guys. You know.
And so when I love how you state. I love how that you state and you express that. You know, you understood that it was a big role to fill, and not only that, as you say that and share that, I just heard how important the founder is to the group. So knowing that because that seems like if I was in that position, I would feel like, oh man, I have to kind of like, this is a big shoe to fill. Because from what I hear,
Yeah,
so
it's
like a leader. That was a leader from what I hear.
it's a lot more
Wow.
different than when like let's say like a lot of the mainstream bands like they either kick out a musician like for I don't know X amount of reasons, but this was like completely different. It's like this wasn't like they let him go or anything. It's like he left this world, you know, and left them just like they didn't know what they were gonna do. They were just like like a like literally like a chicken without their head, you know, like you know. And I just came in, and then like it just like I just learned the songs like literally it took me like what like 2 weeks
Yeah.
to learn like all of the tunes. And dude, they have like a lot of songs where I still haven't learned like half of them yet. Like they have like still songs like what they call the bowl,
Mm-hmm.
like songs that Beast made that they still haven't brought out. So it's like I'm basically just playing catch up, you know, like just catching up to all these guys, to all the music that they have already like made. So it's kind of hard for us to to play all this music like in a rush. Like people always tell like, oh, I remember this song, and then I'm just like, oh well, I'm sorry, it's unfortunate, but like I don't know that music. And it's really hard to like you know get in someone's shoes that literally passed away.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
and it does even hearing both your point of view and hearing the history of the band and hearing what I've heard about Joel, right, Joel? Joel.
Okay.
Um, man, that does seem very heavy to carry. And you know, just the moment I met you and we started talking and we're getting comfortable, you seem kind of like you have a frequency that is similar to
yeah,
maybe have helped or to be helping with this transition, with this, just having to mourn still, right? And no, that's awesome, man. Like, I mean, we've all just met each other, maybe just moments before we aired, and and then man, we're looking at a band doing this 15 years. That's just fantastic. No, seriously, no,
The
seriously,
story, right?
no, because
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm geeking out over it because it's like this is a gem that we have out here. So I'm glad that you guys were willing to donate your time and share this story here with us at KQBH 101.5 FM, and I share it especially here with me, this little old nerd here, with
Your
with
girl
his cohort
B.
here.
we're all
Yes.
nerds.
I really
Well,
like his shirt. Look at his shirt.
I know. I was watching it.
I want one,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
What do I got to do to
No,
get
we
one?
can get you one. That's possible.
Yeah, we
And
might have one with
and I
us.
like what Johnny said. Like Johnny said something, and I'm gonna make a nerdy reference because this is what we do. So he's like, "We're all nerds here," and I'm like, "Exactly." To make a Voodoo Glow Skulls reference, totally sitting here with the band Geek Mafia, right?
Yeah,
Right
there you
here.
go.
We
So
love
this is
you.
so this is the band Geek Mafia. We're
Mhm.
hanging out and really getting a good idea of the genre, and you guys are holding it down
Mm.
for like the traditions of like to say it very blanketed, like the East Side sound of ska punk.
100%.
All right, to just make it blanketed, holding it down just like any other group we could think before, generations before. So that's cool too. And I'm not a big ska guys. I mean, you guys could probably pick that up. I'm not like a huge ska head, but I do love the genre from 60s on up, and always made it clear conscious to like, because you know what, it's horns, dude. I think if we live in a neighborhood like this, it's always horns, huh? That like we love horns, right? So
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
of horns, what made us go with the saxes and all those decisions that we made? Because not everyone in East LA, not everyone in South Central, or wherever we originate goes like Homer saxophone, yeah.
Saxophone.
So yeah, like for real, let's hear. I want to hear that.
I guess I'll speak. The music was intentionally written for trumpet and trombone.
Mm-hmm.
So the music we're playing was not written for saxophones. However, it just so happened that saxophone players, I guess, seem to be the most loyal.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just came in, we stuck around, and we also have a baritone saxophone. So we have an alto, tenor, and a baritone, which is rare to have around. And it's just been the sound that we've carried, and we really try to create dimension with the variations of saxophones that we have. But I don't know, Eder, what do you think about the whole saxophone?
Honestly, I think it's probably our best fit
Yeah.
since we do have some influences like from jazz. It really, how do I say this?
Enhances.
Yeah, it really enhances our sound because a lot of bands always expect a trumpet or a trombone, but we're always just popping up with saxes and saxes, and we don't really feel like we need any other horns. I feel like our saxes are just what we need, and that that distinguishes us from other bands.
So that would that be called texture? Like you have that texture that sticks out
Yeah,
for everyone else.
like a certain sound, like a sound preference, like I'm also a trombone player,
Uh-huh.
but I don't play trombone
Yeah.
for this band, But like it's just I don't know. It's just like they said, like jazz, Like when someone hears like a saxophone, they
Mm-hmm.
always think like Lisa Simpson,
Yeah.
like getting down and like that's the persona that they see. So I think that's the image that we like, showing off like because saxophone is a pretty hard instrument to
Well, it's a
play.
hard instrument, and there was a point in time when like saxophone was the sexiest instrument, and I'm talking about before like 80s. I'm talking about like
Even
even
good cheeks, huh?
yeah, I was thinking like like even 50s too. Even like that used to be a sexy
Yeah,
instrument.
it was the bee's
Yeah,
knees.
yeah, no, no, no.
Yeah, you know.
But I
Jive,
mean, so
man.
it's again, it's the sound that you guys and the textures that you guys are really getting out there
Mm.
to make you guys stand out. Let's see. These hours do come up
Every week,
quick,
every
right?
Monday.
How do you guys feel? You guys feel like that kind of move fast? Hey, it's moving fast. I know we still got a
Yes.
good like
But
time.
before I
What?
guess
No,
we
no, no,
finish, I just
no,
wanted
no,
to
we're
give a
not.
shout out to Baritone Saxophone Wilmer and our Timbalero Tubby, who are not here with us today. But we love them very much, and they make our sound super amazing. But just want to give them love as well.
Yeah, you know what? While we're here, before we wrap up, in fact, did you happen to see Miss? Did you happen to see Jesse? DJ Jesse?
Jesse who?
Okay. So immediately following this, we're gonna have DJ Jesse.
Oh,
I hadn't seen. Well, I hadn't seen them, so I haven't. I was like, maybe we have.
Jesse
I was like,
who?
maybe we have a few more minutes. So that's what I'm trying to get at. I think we
Okay.
could sneak a few more minutes. That's what I'm
Nobody's
gonna
out there.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure no one's out there.
We
We're
were
good.
out there.
Yeah, you guys were. That's why I brought you guys back just in case. Just in case, keep you safe from just
They're all scared.
They're all
Like
scared now.
Jesse
They're like,
who?
wait, what?
It's one of the ghosts.
Yeah. So before we leave and because I really wanna not have to transition. Still all this time is really what it is, and that's what I'm hoping for. Let's get all our handles though, like the band handles. I don't want to forget
Oh.
that. Like before we honestly have to close, I want to make sure we get all
I
these
got
handles.
you. Alright, so our Instagram, where we are the most active, is at official_Negrazul Ska. Our Facebook is Negrazul Ska, and the new one features a picture of us at the
Ooh.
Regent, which we just played in on April 13th. We have two profiles, unfortunately. We
Okay.
lost access to our old Instagram and Facebook because Joelle was the one who ran them. But you'll know if you just go to our Instagram bio, we have a link tree with our TikTok, as well as our Facebook, as well as our email, and some previous interviews that we have on YouTube, and links to our YouTube channel.
Anyone else want to add anything to that in terms of socials? Events coming up. Is there any upcoming shows you wanna talk about?
I guess I'll talk.
Okay.
I'm the one who manages that.
Okay.
So we have some upcoming shows on May 9th. We're going to be playing in Glendale at a new venue. It's a
Ooh.
warehouse venue with root beds. It's going to be
Nice.
really cool. On May 10th, we're going to be playing on Coyote Studios. That's going to be a mixed genre, I guess kind of like a festival.
Okay,
There's going to
cool.
be some hardcores. I believe we're the only ska band so far. There are definitely some pop punk, punk, hardcore. It's mixed genre. So we're really excited for that, and that's going to be an
Awesome.
all ages show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that.
also one thing to add.
What?
I don't think we ever play like in a show where it's just all ska punk.
Mm-hmm.
Like Negrazul always plays like with a bunch of bands, which is like basically experimental ska.
Yeah.
So we don't consider ourselves experimental ska, but we land with the genre. So it's very fun to like connect with all these different
Yeah.
musicians that they